Hey guys, it is NCSFan001 here for one of those weekly Tuesday Trophy Talk Trophy List updates as well as achievements now, because it has so heavily been achievements for the last few weeks. Anyways, today's date is Tuesday, September the 9th. Man, already into September. It's kind of crazy to think. So this will cover the week of September the 2nd through the 8th of 2025. So, in terms of overall progress, trophy progress was obviously very minimal because I've been doing so much RetroAchievement stuff, as well as video editing and stuff like that, and getting prepped for the trip to Japan, all that kind of important stuff. So in terms of actual trophy progress, it was made in exactly one game, and that is Word Web by Palgi, though I did submit the College Football 26 trophy guide for review, so hopefully it'll be up soon. They're on their summer break right now, or they just were recently. So it might still be a few more days, but hopefully that'll go up, so get back on there, creating guides again and all that. I have other guides I definitely want to create this year, but we will have to see exactly how the timing works for some of them. For example, Ghost of Yotai was one I really wanted to do, but I'm not going to be in the country at the time the game actually releases, so yeah. Probably not going to work. But the one game that I obtained trophies in is Word Web by Palgi, because quite honestly, I need to earn some trophies, and I don't mind the Palgi games. I don't mind a good little word search or just word puzzle type of game every now and again. I usually do them about every 50 to 75 platinums, so it's been about that much time since I've done one. So I think it's pretty fitting to do one now. So as with most of these games, the Platinum Trophy is very, very easy. It's also quite fast. So you only have to solve 50 puzzles in this game, including the first and last puzzle. Whereas some of these you might have to do every single puzzle, but this time you only have to do the first and the last one and then 48 others, which is definitely beneficial. It definitely cuts down on the time this game takes to platinum. In fact, I'm sure that if you really knew what you're doing, maybe half an hour to platinum, yeah. If you really knew what you were doing, probably 30 to 35 minutes to platinum. Not quite there, but hey, it doesn't really matter that much. So in terms of the trophies, solve the first puzzle, which is pretty self-explanatory. Solve the last puzzle is pretty explanatory, as is solving 50 total puzzles. Those are all very much self-explanatory, shouldn't really be in question. So then you have to use fix to correct a mistake and fix to remove at least 5 incorrect letters. So on the very first puzzle, just put in completely wrong letters everywhere. Now I don't fully understand how these puzzles work. Basically, you have a grid that's 5x4 or something, or 5x5. I think it's 5x5. And some of the letters are already filled in, some of them are not. And you have to fill them in such a way that it solves all the words listed for you, which is kind of a weird idea for a puzzle. So I could definitely see this one kind of being more problematic if you don't follow a guide. Could definitely require quite a bit more effort to figure out, just because it's kind of a weird design overall. But if you're following a guide, you should not have any problems whatsoever with this, and you can get that platinum in, like I said, a half an hour or so. So use fix to correct a mistake, and then use fix to correct basically 5 mistakes at once. So just make 5 mistakes on the very first puzzle, the wrong letter everywhere. Correct them all at once, and you will knock out a couple of trophies right there. Solving a puzzle without making a single mistake is not going to be a problem. You can get this on any puzzle after that first one. So don't worry about that one at all. Solve a puzzle in less than 3 minutes should not be a problem. You should easily get that many, many times throughout playing this game as long as you're following a guide. Then spend at least a minute contemplating a solution. That is a very common trophy in the Palgi game, so that's not a difficult one at all. Just don't hit anything for 1 full minute and you will get this trophy. Then you, of course, have this trophy that's literally in every single Palgi game, or almost every single Palgi game. Just spell in an appropriate word in one way or another. The word penis works quite well in this game, but I'm sure that there are other options should you be, wanting to be creative and branch out on that, I guess is the word I would say. Then you have to cycle through every single word on the list, which basically just involves hitting R1 or L1 15-ish times, and you will cycle through all the words, so that's very, very easy to do. And then you have to correctly place a bunch of words, which are found in specific puzzles, which are all very easy to do as long as you follow a guide. So I haven't finished the game yet, and I will do the PS5 version as well, so I will do both of those in the same video at some point in the near future, or at least record them both. It'll be a while till they both go up. But yeah, so it's a Palgi game. It is what it is. It's obviously a very easy platinum trophy overall. It's a quick platinum trophy. But I don't mind the Palgi games. Like I said, I do them every now and then, like every, 75-ish platinum trophies at this point. And it's good to at least get myself a little bit of trophy progress for the last couple of weeks, because that's the only progress I've made. Because I played Death Stranding for like an hour in the last 2 weeks, and that's like literally it. So yeah, I have not really been making progress in the trophy world, because I have most heavily been focusing on good old retro achievements, because I'm having so much fun with it. Now, I want to address that elephant that I mentioned last time. No, I'm not stopping trophy hunting or anything like that. I know that people have asked that several times, but no, that's not what's happening. I'm just really having a lot of fun with retro achievements currently. And, I mean, it's just fun to go back and play these old classic games. I mean, not be angry at games when I play them and stuff like that. It's honestly really nice to be in that kind of a situation for once, because life is quite stressful right now, so that'll all be covered probably a little bit in the next stream, probably on Wednesday. I got some things I got to say about that. But in terms of achievement progress, of course, we already had LEGO Star Wars and Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1 done. The game that we finished in the past week was Barnyard, but you will have seen a few other games appearing there, and there is a very good reason for those other games being there, and we will get to that here in just a second. So, with this game's achievement list, the PS2 achievement list is actually quite easy overall. Like, there's really not anything I would say is all that difficult. It's really just, beat the game and then, like, starring all the mini games and stuff like that. So basically, every achievement through here is unmissable and story related. So that is a huge chunk of the achievement list already done. We're going to come back to this Crossroad trophy or achievement right here. We will come back to that one, because that one is a particular kind of hell that I was not expecting. You have to collect all of the recipe rocks, of which there are 32 total. Nothing too difficult there. Collect all 64 hints. Again, nothing super difficult there. Most of them are kind of like out in the open. A handful of them are a little bit harder to find, but most of them are very easy. Then you have to create all 32 of the food and drink items, which is not particularly hard. It just requires a lot of like honey and other expensive materials. So you're going to want to spend your gopher bucks toward the end of the game on those once you purchase everything for the barn. Speaking of that, you do have to purchase everything for the barn, reach 100% there to become the one true party animal. It's very, very easy. You should have more than enough money by the time you're done, especially once you know which Gold Rush machines are better than others. Then you have to become the Barnyard Champion, which requires you to get a star in 20 of the 25 minigames, but you will have to star every single minigame, so it's not that big a deal. You have to grow all 8 stalks of milkweed. So the reason this achievement is missable is because if you had played the game prior to installing any sort of patch that would install retro achievements, this would actually become missable, because you could potentially have unlocked all the bonus items previously. Now, this was not a problem for me because I had not played the game on PSX2 or whatever it's called, or PCX2, whatever it's called. I had not played it previously, so it wasn't a problem, but just keep that in mind, that that one is technically missable, very slightly. You have to break all 5 of the Super Squirt records, which are very, very easy. Most of them are accessed by milkweed, and they're all very easy to do once you know where they are. You have to perform more than 3 tricks at Ben's Hill, and 3 tricks total for the Junkyard, as well as the Old Mill, and the South Path. So basically a bunch of stunt-based achievements. All of these are very, very easy. Just go off the jump and perform the 3 or 4 stunts needed, and you should be able to get it. It might take a couple of tries for some of them, but for the most part, it's really nothing all that difficult, so don't worry too much about this one, or any of these achievements. Then you have to collect every gopher buck from every one of the Gold Rush machines, so really none of these are all that hard. Like, the one in the barnyard's pretty easy. The one in the barn itself is pretty easy once you know what to do. The South Path is not too hard. Then the Ben's Hill one is the one that I always used to use as a kid, but it is definitely not the best one. The Beatty Farm one's pretty easy. The Old Mill one requires some jumping up onto the, like, trough that goes into the mill, so just keep that in mind. It might take a couple of tries. Then aside from that one, the Grizzly Gulch one, this one's actually not too hard, and it does give you a whole lot of gopher bucks, so it's definitely worth looking at. It's not too hard once you know the route. And then finally, the one at Izzy Springs is kind of annoying because there's a few of the gopher bucks that are kind of hidden really far off the path, so you do have to be a little bit more careful with this particular one. But for the most part, none of these achievements should give you too many problems. Then you have to obtain the Royal Jelly, which is a very well hidden item in this game. So to get this achievement, you have to go in to the honey collecting minigame, and you have to obtain every single bit of honey from each of the 3 hives each time you clear them, which is going to require you to clear each hive about 5 total times, so about 15 total clearings. And if you do that, clear it every single time perfectly, you should get a prompt for the Royal Jelly, and that one should come up every single time. As far as I can tell, it does pop up every single time. It's not actually random like I kind of initially thought it was. And then you simply have to obtain a star rank in every minigame, which in all honesty is really not that hard. Like, most of these minigames are not that hard to get a star rank in. They might take a couple of tries. Just the main one to look out for here is 18 Holes of Golf, because for some reason, this is done in either Chapter 5 or Chapter 6, so midway through the story. This one, for some reason, can't be replayed. I don't know why. I could have sworn it could be on the Wii, but apparently I was wrong. Or at least it's not on this PS2 version. So this is the one and only one that you really, really want to be careful with. Just make absolutely sure that you know it's there and knock it out during that one and only chance you actually get at it. Because again, I'm surprised that it only gets one chance. And then on the GameCube version, don't worry, we will talk about that one other achievement here in just a second. Let me scroll back down to it so I don't forget about it. We will talk about that here in just a second. So the GameCube version, you get a lot of achievements simply for beating the game. So I believe, let's see, every single achievement through here is story-related and unmissable. Find all the collectibles is to be expected. Grow all the milkweed to be expected. All the super squirts to be expected. Create every recipe, no different from what we've been used to. Same with 100% the Night Barn. Rise to first place in the Barnyard Champion table, so that's get a star in 20 minigames, then enter the Barnyard. Then you have to get all the Gopher Bucks from every machine, which we've already done. Get a star ranking in every single minigame, which we've already talked about. Again, the 18 Holes of Golf is apparently actually missable, so that's highly unfortunate. But thankfully it wasn't really a problem for me because I played this game so much. So then you start getting to some of the more obnoxious achievements from the GameCube version. So you have to get every single Gopher Buck in each of the 5 bike race tracks. And you can only play them each one time, so you have to be very careful with that one. The charity one is the one that I'm really kind of worried about, just because there's a lot of branching paths toward the end, so I'm not as sure about that one. But overall, really, the other 4 shouldn't be much of a problem. It's really just the charity race one that seems kind of problematic. But they're all missable because you can't go back and replay those as far as I'm aware, unless there is a way to replay them in the antics menu or something. Then you get to a few of the other charity games. So the charity flight is going to be actually pretty challenging, just because that's the one where you're flying as Peck and you have to get all those Gopher Bucks while flying through it. And that's actually very challenging because the controls there don't really work the best. Then the charity squirter, that one's probably not too bad overall because charity squirter isn't super hard, but 47 seconds is not a lot of time. Charity golf, this one probably isn't that bad because it is the time-based golf, so you're allowed to take as many shots as you need to as long as you finish it in time, and you can just run around as the gopher. So I don't think that one's going to be that bad because it's only 9 holes, so it's not the whole course or anything like that. The Extra Joyride, you can replay this as many times as you need to, but 125 is actually quite a bit. It's actually definitely fairly challenging to get that much because some of the Gopher Bucks face into the ground and stuff, I found out. And then you have a lot of miscellaneous achievements related to the different mini-games, so mud jumpers without jumping and without getting hit. And then every pose without getting caught in any of the tease mini-games. That one shouldn't be too much of a problem. Then the billiards one could be a problem. It's very, very luck-based as to whether or not Duke decides to play really well or not. Chasing chicks, that one shouldn't actually be all that hard because I usually don't have to stun him and I can usually just use the long-range targets. That shouldn't be a problem. Same with the Jersey Cows one. That one shouldn't be too much of an issue because you are actually allowed to stun them in that one. Then the honey collecting, that one, I don't know how you do it without hiding, but that shouldn't be anything insanely hard. Although I assume that means that you have to actually like basically get the royal jelly while doing it. Vegetable Patch Defender, that one's not too terribly hard. It just might take a couple of tries. Chicken Coop Defender without throwing the raccoons out shouldn't be much of a problem, though I just don't know if you would get a star on that run, which doesn't necessarily matter. Freddy's Dream is the like weird demonic level, which is just like a really, really bizarre level. Shouldn't be too much of a problem, though. The 100-point target in Chicken Launch is not too hard to get either. Without using any boosts or going through more than one ring, I don't really get how you would do that one. It sounds like it's an either or type of thing. So either you can go through rings without using any boosts, or you can go through only one ring and use your boost. That's kind of what I'm reading that as. Complete the first track of the Joyride without going under 100 miles an hour, which seems quite challenging because if you hit anything, you're going to drop down in speed so much. Milk Bar, that one's probably not anything insane if you're actually good at the minigame. I'm not particularly good at it, though. The Perfect Stirring Whack-A-Rack probably isn't that bad. Complete the final battle without losing any hens or lives is definitely going to be a bit of a challenge. I'm going to say that one. Even though I found out that you actually can dodge. Scale Gopher Hill shouldn't be anything too bad. And then 3 tricks. Oh, so that's another random 3 tricks one. So that's easy enough. Purchase the best bike. It's like 2,500 Gopher bucks, so it's pretty expensive. And then this one involves using the Royal Jelly when your stamina is completely empty. And then Ben at Ben's Hill at night. I'm actually not sure how this one's missable because I'm pretty sure you have to talk to him for some of the story missions. So I'm not entirely sure how that one's missable. But now I want to talk about this one, a Crossroad of Nicktoons. This is easily one of the most bizarre, ridiculous achievements I've ever seen in my time trophy and achievement hunting. This one requires you to unlock all of the cross-save content. So in order to do that, you have to have a save file from, I want to say it's Nicktoons Unite, Tack and the Great Juju Challenge, and SpongeBob Lights Camera Pants. So you have to have save files from those 3 particular games. Now, obviously, if you're on RetroAchievement, you're doing this on an emulator. So that's going to complicate this heavily. Now, if you just go into each of those 3 games on the emulator for the same console, you can knock this out. But it is such a stupid, stupid achievement that I really just don't know why it's in the game or why they thought it would be a good idea, because it's just, again, it's so bizarre. Like, you have to have save data for 3 other games, but you know that, like, RetroAchievement's players are not necessarily going to be, like, downloading all of these other random games out of nowhere. It's such a weird achievement that I honestly just don't really understand why it's in the game like that. I honestly don't know. If you have a good answer for that, definitely let me know. But I just feel like it's a very, very weird thing to have on the achievement list. It feels very out of place. It's not a multiplayer achievement necessarily, but it definitely feels like very, very out of place overall, in my opinion. So with that, I now have several other games on my list that I didn't necessarily want to have here. I've been playing Rocket Power Beach Bandits. We're currently in the Wishing Waters area, still playing through it just on the side. But Nicktoons Unite on the PS2 does not have achievements, thankfully. I think it has a GameCube version that does. So we can go ahead and take a look at that. I think it does, or maybe it... Okay, so Nicktoons Unite actually does not have an achievement list on any version, surprisingly. Battle for Volcano Island does, and Globs of Doom does, but okay then. So that's actually kind of nice because, I mean, this is a very good game. This is a fun one for, like, me and Lizard Guy to ever play through someday if they ever add achievements to it or anything like that, but... Otherwise, Tack and the Great Juju Challenge and Lights, Camera, Pants are the other 2 here that got added to the list from having to have that save data. Great Juju Challenge doesn't look anything like all that insane in all honesty. It's like you have to finish all of the levels, you have to win the proving grounds, which are the only missable achievements because they're not anything all that unreasonable. But basically, like, finish the entire game, win each of the proving grounds in first place, which again you can save before them, so it shouldn't be much of a problem. And then complete all of the side quests to unlock all of the like blessing gems and gem cards and stuff. So I don't really think there's anything like insanely hard about this version of the game. But it does have a second like subset list here. And I'm not really sure how these subset lists work. Like, you know, if you play the main version of the game, does this one like automatically load onto your console or what? I don't entirely know how that works. But like this one is basically a speed run subset, so you basically have to speed run every single level in a certain amount of time, as well as beat the game in under 70 minutes, which actually seems like it could be quite a bit. And it looks like no one has achieved most of this, actually. So I don't know if it's just a new list or if it's just like insanely unforgiving. Yeah, it might just be insanely unforgiving because like no one has done anything here, and that is a crap load of retro points. Holy cow, 14,000 points. Okay, that's actually pretty insane, and some of those are not insanely hard, but some of those actually are very difficult. Lights, Camera, Pants, I don't really know anything about this list, but I did play this game a little bit when I was a kid. I didn't grow up with this one as much as like Battle for Bikini Bottom or the movie game or Revenge of the Flying Dutchman. So I don't know exactly what most of this requires, but it's probably just like replaying a lot of the games. Though it looks like a lot of the achievements are pretty rare, so I'm not going to discount any of that. Yeah, it looks like a lot of really rare achievements, so yeah, that one might actually be kind of challenging. I don't entirely know, though, because I'm not super knowledgeable on the game, but I know it is actually like a pretty good game overall. And like I said, Rocket Power Beach Band's just playing that one, really, really hoping that we get an achievement list for it at some point on either version, because it's a great game. It's the first game I sort of grew up on, etc. So, with that, we can look at our stats. Level 903, 9% of the way through, 30,813 total trophies, 889 platinums, 5,949 golds, 8,289 silvers, 15,686 bronzes on PlayStation. On Retro Achievements, we now have 1,000 points exactly, or 1,317 Retro points, which has more to do with like actual difficulty and rarity. We are ranked now in the top 57,000 out of 109,000, so we have gained some progress over time for sure. So, plans for the upcoming week. With the Astrobot video being released, the next one to work on is the Clock Tower video, followed by the LEGO Star Wars 1 video, which is our first Retro Achievements video. Super excited for that, of course. But in terms of games to play this week, I honestly don't know what I'm going to play at this point in time. Like, I have the other version of Barnyard that I want to play. I have other Retro Achievements games that I want to play. There's not a whole lot on the PlayStation that I really want to play right now, and like Retro Achievements has been a lot of fun because it's a lot of games that I love from when I was a kid, and I'm just having fun with them. There's no rage or any of that kind of crap going on with it. So that's part of the reason why I'm really enjoying these games, but like, I know that a big part of my channel is, of course, PlayStation trophy hunting, so definitely need to start getting back into that, so I don't know what's going to be the next game I play on PlayStation, or the next game I'm going to play on Retro Achievements for that matter. But I have many games in mind, especially for Retro Achievements, fewer so for PlayStation. But I definitely have some ideas of what I want to do in the near future. And then, of course, I need to really just, work on editing videos for when I'm going to be gone for basically 2 weeks in Japan. I'll be vlogging all of it, though I don't know if it'll go on my main channel. It'll probably go up on my alt channel, just because of the way that vlogs don't do super well with this channel at this point. So, yeah, that's sort of the current plans, but they're all kind of subject to change at this point. So, this week, the schedule should be somewhat kind of normal. Like, going through the week, regular week should be fairly normal. Friday we'll probably get a stream, but it might be like a shorter one. Saturday, no stream because I'm going to see Megan Maroney in concert, one of my major celebrity crushes. I gotta get Grok or ChatGPT to make me the most perfect sign in the world for the concert, so that maybe I have that 0.000000001% chance of actually getting with her. So wish me luck on that. And of course, I've got other things I can talk about on streams and stuff, just some insane stupidity and bullshit from work. But yeah, aside from all of that, we will have that this weekend, and then the week after should be pretty normal. And the week after that is when I actually leave for Japan, so that's going to be a very different schedule. We will talk about that when we get there. I'll have a few videos edited and ready to go for that time period, so don't worry, there will still be content, just no live streams during that time. But can't freaking wait for it. So excited for that trip. Just really can't wait for it. So, thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe, ring the bell if you haven't done so already. Let me know down in the comments what you guys have been working on over the past week or two. And yeah, I will see you guys back here later this week, and we will do some more trophy or achievement content.